Welcome and thanks for taking part in the Fasten Off Yarnalong by watching this designer interview. I am Marike, your host. I'm Dutch, I'm from the Netherlands, so if my language is a bit rusty, please forgive me. I'm happy to introduce Nicole from Common Thread Fibers to you today. Nicole, please tell us a little bit about yourself as a start.
Okay, well, my name's Nicole. I am a Chicago-based nerdy knitwear designer. That's most of my identity. I've been designing for a few years now, and I'm just really here to get fellow nerdy knitters empowered to embrace their inner heroes and do that through knitting.
So nerdy knitting
Mhm.
patterns, is that also
Yep.
the inspiration? Where do you draw inspiration from? What does nerdy mean to you?
Yes. So nerdy to me basically means if there's something you feel super passionate about, you're a nerd. So I have a very wide umbrella, a very big umbrella for what nerding out means. If there's a topic that if it comes up, just cannot resist info dumping about it, you're a nerd. And so for me, it's definitely knitting, but it is also fantasy and mythology and art. So my inspiration at the moment, the vast majority of my designs are inspired by Tolkien. So the world of Middle Earth and Lord of the Rings. And I draw a lot of inspiration from his work because it very much reminds us that we are heroic, and no matter how small we may feel, we can have a big impact. And I think that's really important, especially right now as a Chicago-based knitwear designer, So yeah.
Yeah, small things can create a ripple.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Have you experienced your designs being a ripple for someone or something?
I have, and they're usually people will tell me, they'll send me a direct message or they'll share it, with me one way or another, and it feels really good to know that why I do what I do, it is landing for some people. I just had someone send me a DM on Instagram, telling me that they wore my I am no man pullover to a very scary medical appointment, and it really did make them feel like they had someone at their back, and like they felt like they could handle it, and the sweater really felt like armor for them, and that made me want to cry in like a really good way because it's like, oh, that's exactly what I wanted it to be. So that it means a lot to me. So
So if
yeah.
makers share their experiences when wearing your designs, that's definitely something you feel in your heart.
Very much so. I know I've experienced some designers who are like, I put my stuff out into the world and out it goes, and I don't. It is what it is. I am not one of them. I like it when people reach out to me to tell me how it goes. I love seeing, works in progress. I love seeing what people do with my designs. I've had friends, I consider them friends, who they've taken my King Under the Mountain cable and applied it to a like self-drafted hood. So they made themselves like a little dwarven hood. I loved it. I absolutely loved seeing that. Another friend knit I Am No Man, and they made a change to the sleeves where they added the cable that goes up here to the sleeve here. And it's so cool. So I love seeing my designs in the wild. I love seeing how makers take them and run with it. And I love hearing the effect that that has because I do really believe that we can learn a lot about ourselves through our knitting if we just listen. And I think a huge part of that comes from taking a design and playing with it and modifying it. And so I love seeing it. I love seeing the projects. I love seeing how people go with it. And I don't get insulted when people make changes. I love to see it.
Lovely, that's nice. Do you have some designs you want to share with us? Not made by
Sure.
makers, but made by you.
Yeah, so the one I'm wearing right now is my current go-to. This is Stolen Silver Spoons, the crop. This is inspired by Bilbo Baggins and his spoons that Lovelia Sackville Baggins steals. That's really this lace is supposed to look like the filigree on antique spoons. And it's a crop top and it's supposed to be fitted almost like a little waistcoat and just having the little balloon sleeves, very small balloon sleeve, but it's very cozy and I keep wearing it over dresses and it's nice and warm because it's freezing here. And so with this design, it made me remember that two things can be true. And I feel like Bilbo is an excellent example of how two things can be true. You can be small and have a big impact. You can miss your warm bed, but want to go on an adventure. You could be the, well-to-do hobbit who then says, "Screw the rules, I'm heading out," So this is that for me. Another one of my favorites. This was a mystery knit along last year. So this was originally called Keep It Secret, Keep It Safe, because every year we do a mystery knit along and it's called Kiss Kiss. And this is inspired by Tree Herder. So this is just a bunch of cables that all made me think of Fangorn Forest. And it's dyed by my friend Lore, who is Knittin' Word. And everything about this was just a great experience. And I feel like that is important for me. I want the experience of you knitting it to take you on an adventure. I want you to feel like you've accomplished something when you're done. And I want knitters to feel like they have some of their favorite heroes with them so that they can then be fully themselves. They can feel safe being who they are because they know we all have little bits of our favorite heroes in us. And with that comes collaborations and fellowships. And so working with Lore on this was a huge privilege for me. She wasn't a dyer that just threw yarn at me. She wanted to be a part of the whole process, and I love that. I absolutely love that. So the stitch that inspired it was this one at the end. It's supposed to be the tree of life or Yggdrasil, and this yarn color is Yggdrasil, who's supposed to be Fangorn. So this is a favorite of mine. And then the last one,
Beautiful.
yeah, the last one I'll show you is this guy. This is my absolute all-time favorite. This is called Hat for Thorin. So the cables are inspired by Thorin Oakenshield's armor. And it's my favorite hat. I've designed a lot of hats, and this one is still my favorite. This is knit out of baby cat yarn, and the colorway is Genovian pear. But I love the cables, and I love how the hat behaves differently depending on what yarn you knit it out of. So this is superwash, which means it's a little more slouchy. But I knit my husband one out of non-superwash, which behaves a lot more like it could stand up on its own, but he tends to just kind of bring it back like that. So I love that it's very modifiable in what kind of yarn you use, and that both finished objects are fantastic in their own way. So those are some. Those are my favorites.
Cables and lace. Is that something you keep returning to?
Cables, yes. Lace scares me, which is why I keep returning to it because I'm a big proponent of adventurous knits. So something I'm working on right now that I can't show, it's this year's Keep It Secret, Keep It Safe Mystery Knit Along. It'll be, I say this year, it's 2026's Mystery Knit Along, which happens off Ravelry. Just if anybody wants to know, you can participate in with however you want. All of the festivities happen on my Discord server. But you can, if you're on Instagram, you can share pictures. You can share it on Ravelry if you want, but it's not an on Ravelry thing. If you just want to send me emails, you can send me emails. Like you do whatever you want. You get a clue a week. So I'm working on that right now, and it is entirely lace, and that was a huge challenge for me. This was the extent of my lace knitting. And so I thought, you can't stay scared and avoid it. Like try it. Is it really scary? It's not. It was not scary. It's not my favorite, but cables are my favorite. Cables I come back to every time.
So what's up next is the Keep It Secret, Keep It Safe knit along
Yep.
next year. How
Yep.
can makers keep track of that and all the other stuff you will be doing in 2026? How can they follow you?
Most reliable way is my newsletter. I'm making some changes in how I function on the internet at the moment. I'm taking stock of social media and all that jazz. So my newsletter is the most reliable way to keep up with what I'm doing. If anyone is a current newsletter subscriber, they may have realized those newsletters became more sporadic, and it's because of all the stuff that doesn't need to be happening anymore. All this, the I don't know, the creative vampires that take away the time from doing the things that actually matter. Um, so my newsletter is going to become more regular because I do love writing them and I love interacting with people through them. They're very nerdy. They are very nerdy. We usually open with a D&D style, like little excerpt, like we're going on an adventure. It'll be usually we talk about some kind of creative lesson I've learned throughout, the journey. And we'll talk about, if there's important things coming up, like the make along or a new pattern getting dropped, that will be in there. But it's not just a here's what I'm up to kind of thing. And then at the end, I always include three nerdy things that I'm nerding out over on the internet. Usually it's, maybe it's a podcast or it's a book or, maybe it might sometimes be, something that I've purchased and I enjoy, but it's never sponsored. I never put sponsored links in those. So it's really genuinely, this thing is great and I love it and you should try it. But
I'm I'm a newsletter subscriber, and I
oh, thank you.
always like the way you tell a story in your newsletter. So
Thank you.
the information or the news you want to share is always, how do you say that? Formed or shaped within the story, and I really enjoy that. It's like I can sit back and enjoy 5 minutes of reading something instead of only digesting news like you do
Thank
on
you.
all other emails you receive.
That means a
Um,
lot to me because that's my goal. So I'm glad it comes across.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's already a time for us. 10 minutes
Okay.
move really quickly. Is
Yeah.
there any last thing we haven't touched on that you would like to mention or share?
I think I just always want to remind knitters that, and not just knitters, fiber artists. I always say knitters because I'm a knitter, right? We're all the main characters of our own story, so to me it's always knitting. But knitters, crocheters, weavers, spinners, fiber artists as a whole, we are artists. So fiber art. So this is an art, and what you do matters. And you're knitting or you're crocheting or you're spinning, it can teach you a lot more than just how to form the stitch. And you should be really proud of yourself for knowing what you know and doing what you do. I'm proud of you. So
Well, let's take that into the weekend, the coming week, depending on whenever watchers are watching this. Thank you so much, Nicole, for giving us the opportunity to get to know you a little bit better. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope participants watching this video enjoyed it. The Fasten Off Yarnalong keeps going until December 31st, 2025, and it's never too late to join. So check out our schedule for more events and activities. Look at Nicole's patterns on our website or on her own website. I will put all the links to Nicole's website, newsletter, and the links to the Fasten Off Yarnalong in the description box. If you're seeing this video at the end of the event, please sign up for our newsletter to be notified when the next edition starts. Thanks again, Nicole, and
thank
happy
you.
crafting, everyone.